everyone, my name is REDRUP, this is the It's Not a Phase podcast, and on this episode I'm joined by Acres vocalist Ben Lumber. We discuss the band's brand new third album, The Host, recording with the Plot and new frontman Landon Tewers, recently doing a load of touring over in the US, the loose concept of the album and the visual representation of the band at the moment, and loads more. Very quickly, before we start the chat, I'd really appreciate it if you took a few seconds of your time right now to help me out by supporting the podcast. You can hit subscribe or follow wherever you're checking this out, and that way you also don't miss out on any future episodes. You can leave a review or a comment. You can go onto social media and follow the podcast there. And if you want to go one step further, there's also a Patreon and a web store too. To make it super easy for you guys, I've shoved links to everything that I've just mentioned in the description of this episode, or you can head to itsnotaphase.co.uk. And now, with all that out of the way, here's my chat with Ben Lumber of Acres. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me on this episode of the It's Not a Phase podcast, where I'm joined by Ben of Acres. How's it going, dude?
What's up, man? I'm good, thank you, man. How are you?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Glad to have you back on the podcast. I think the last time you were on was just as Burning Throne was coming out. So yeah, a lot has happened since then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, including right now, you're over in the US, supporting Devil Wears Prada. And I think you've got some shows like slotted in around that time with Beartooth as well. How's that all going so far?
Yeah, dude, it's been great. We've been here just over a week. Shows have been great. And then we did 4 shows in Canada as well, which is cool because we've only ever played Toronto and Montreal. So yeah, we went to Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver, which was very cool. We'd never been there, and we actually got to drive a whole day through Banff National Park, which was stunning. So
Cool.
yeah, the whole tour's been cool. And then yeah, we have a couple of shows with Beartooth as well, which is wild. So
Yeah. It seems like you guys have been over there quite a lot the past few months, I think.
yeah, it's crazy because a couple of years ago, the dream and the conversation was like we really want to go to America, and this is now our third tour in 2 years,
Crazy.
which is just unreal. So yeah, we just did the Plot and You tour, 3 weeks at home, and then back here with Prada. So yeah, very grateful to be seeing a whole bunch of America.
Yeah, and it's insane. At the time of this recording, the album's not out yet, but the album will be released on the second while you're still out there as well. So that's crazy as well.
Which is really cool. It's come around so quick. Like I'm used to recording an album and then having 6-7 months of just sitting with it, whereas we tracked this album in October and then the rollout started in February. So it was just, and so it was only recently someone said, "Oh, the record comes out in a few weeks," and I was like, "Well, we're on tour," and it just coming so quickly, you don't even realize. But yeah, next Friday it's out. So
yeah, I guess if you think of the comparison of so Burning Throne came out in 2023, but before that was the first album that came out in 2019, Lonely World.
Yeah.
So it's quite a big gap, and then obviously between 2023 and now you put out the EP, and then obviously this new album as well. So I guess by comparison, it's just firing out something new pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's wild. The EP was a kind of spur of the moment thing. We were actually writing for this album, and the label were like, "What do you think about doing an EP for the record?" And we were just like, "Sure, why not?" So the kind of demos we had for the record ended up being what the EP was, and then we did 10 fresh new songs for the record. So yeah, it's cool, man. It's just to be consistently putting out music is what we've always wanted to do, and finally there's no breaks or a year break. It's just there's a record, there's an EP, there's another record coming, and I'm really happy with how it's rolling out like that.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the way it has to go. Nowadays, the quicker you put out music, the better, because people's attention spans is just dwindling more and more as the days go by.
Yeah, dude, for sure. There's so many different ways of releasing music now, and I think just giving people music, new music, constant music is just the best way right now, and it's something we've never done either. It's just always been a single, which then ends up on the album 6 months later, and then the record comes out, and then we go away, write another album, and And to do it this way, yeah, like an EP was never on the cards originally, but then
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, it's just like why not? Let's just do it. And yeah, like I said, it just feels good to be consistently putting out music all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just saying, this is the third album, The Host, through Solid State and Tooth and Nail,
Yeah.
and I think you're kind of keeping up with something I think I've heard you say in quite a few interviews is that you don't want to do the same album twice, right? Like you had Learn the World, which is a bit more like I guess post rock influence than Burning Throne was a bit more alt rock, and this has kind of gone more down a heavier but also more electronic route. Like, how are you feeling about
Yeah.
putting this album out in the world and like this new era of Acres?
It's cool, man. Like, yeah, we always try and evolve with every record, and we've always said we don't want to write the same album twice. And I remember after doing Lonely World, my whole outlook was cool. We should become a pop rock band now. Like this seems to be doing better than the other stuff. Maybe we become a pop band. Like I don't want to scream on the next record. Like no screaming, let's just catchy choruses. And then Alex, our guitarist, was just like, absolutely not. And which I'm very glad. I think that was very poor judgment on my part. And we did Burn and Throne. And I mean, the great thing is with each album is me and our old guitarist Theo kind of were the main two writers for Lonely World. It was just
Yeah.
mainly me and him doing the demos and his songs. So then with Burn and Throne, it became me and Alex doing the whole record. So that, again, that changed it up, and I really loved that the different writing process. And then this time with the host, there was five of us, including Landon. Like we went to Landon because he's just like a musical genius, and I've always wanted like a fifth member from a producer. So having writing with him, really having him give his like ideas and his feedback, and oh this sucks, this could be cooler. And really, yeah, just really leaning on him and everybody else in the band as well. So this time instead of just two, there was five of us writing this record, and we went out we recorded in Detroit, and we went out with like one instrumental half done demo. That was the only thing we went out with.
Wow. Okay.
And the whole point was to spend a month, get as creative as we can, and kind of go into the unknown and not know what we're going to create and what we're going to come back with, which I think was a good thing because this is what we have, and I don't think it sounds like Burn and Throne. I don't think it sounds like Lonely World, and I love that we can do that, and every album it sounds different and it's not just the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That original route you wanted to go down of more poppy and less screams didn't really work, did it? Because now I say you're darker and heavier than ever. So
Yeah, dude, I like Burn and Throne. We said this is the heaviest we've ever been, and then we've gone heavier now. So who knows? Next record might be heavier, and next record might be lighter. And I think the cool thing is this record is quite heavy, so there is scope.
Which is cool because I hate being, I don't want to be penciled into a genre or kind of pigeonholed into a genre. And a lot of people have said with this record, they can't kind of define what style it is because there are metalcore songs. There's a song on this album called Around Again, which is like probably the poppiest song we've ever done, which is great. So just being able to, I always say like my favorite bands, every album kind of sounds different, which I love. And if you love a band and you really want to listen to that band, sometimes you don't want to listen to breakdowns or heavy stuff. And I love it when you can take a record from a band, and if you're not feeling breakdowns or heavy stuff, you can go to a different album, and whatever mood you are, that there's a record for kind of whatever mood you're feeling, that you can still listen to your favorite band. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, and
yeah.
hopefully it comes across that we're trying to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer bands that do that. Like if you do the same album over and over again, it kind of gets a bit boring, and it's fine. Like if one of your favorite bands puts out an album and you don't like that album because the other album still exists, like you can still go and listen to them. So
exactly. And I mean, we still get comments like, "Oh, you guys were so much better when you were playing this shit like 10 years ago," and it's just like people need to realize, like as people, as musicians, you grow, and like anybody in any kind of craft, you strive to be better, and something they think was better 10 years ago to us is like, well, this was 10 years ago we were writing this. Like we were 10 years younger, we were into different things, and now this is us now. So yeah, hopefully people open their minds a little and realize that people grow and change, and bands should definitely evolve and not just stick to what was cool like 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think like just kind of because you mentioned the 10-year thing, like I think if I like my research is right, like you joined in 2015, so you've been in the band for 10 years now. So
Yeah, which is
that's no
great.
milestone for you to celebrate this year.
Yeah, I've been literally having that conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I've been back like 10 years now, and it's fucked because it doesn't feel like 10 years. It's flown, which is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, time flies when you're having fun, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, I remember just getting the message about joining it to here to where we are now. It's just, yeah, fucked.
Yeah, insane, insane. But yeah, you were saying before that, you worked with Landon on this album. I think, you did the EP as well, but I think you did the EP remotely, didn't you? And then you went over to the
Yeah,
US to work with him in person for the album. What was it like working with him? Like, what's he like in the studio? How did he kind of have his hands on these songs?
he's great, man. Like, he's so cool. We got on like from day one. Obviously, we toured with them. We did a couple of shows in Europe in September with them, but obviously it was like an 8-day tour. So trying to get to know Landon, we didn't really get to know each other. And also that was like their biggest Euro tour. And the last thing I want to do as a support band is go in and be like, Landon, let's talk about my record. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So we didn't speak much about the record, but yeah, we flew out to his house in his studio and spent like the whole month there. And yeah, he's great, dude. Like, just one of those, he's just a musical genius is all I can say. Any idea he'll try, and I love he's so honest, and he got so passionate about the record as well during the time, which is what I wanted. He was passionate, and like I said, if there was something he didn't like, he would tell us, and this could be cooler, let's work on this, let's come back to this. And is that exactly what we wanted? And yeah, it was. I love the Plotting You, and I love what Landon does. Like, as a vocalist, I think he's great. As a band and as a songwriter, they are fantastic. So the first day of vocals was a little scary because it was just in his room, and I was just like, shit, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like someone like him, like he's one of those, I mean, it's the nicest way possible. He's one of those annoying people that seems to be like good at everything. Like he's a great vocalist. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a production like wizard, and he writes these insane lyrics. So like I can imagine going in the same room with him, especially when you mentioned before, like you only went with like a couple of demos, was a bit daunting, a bit apprehensive.
Yeah, it was funny at times because, like I said, we got on so well that when it did come to the vocals, like with harmonies and stuff, I cannot do them. Like, my downfall is harmonies. I've never been able to work them out. I can sing them once they're sung to me. So Landon's singing me harmonies, and I remember every time I fucked the harmony up, he would just look at me and laugh, and I was just like, but like in a good way. Like, that's how well we got on. Like, we all felt comfortable enough that he could just be like, that fucking sucks, like, do it again. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a bit of a workhorse as well because I had him on the podcast a few months ago, and he was saying like his downfall is that he just thinks too much about the music. Like he says, like sometimes he's in bed dreaming, and he's like dreaming of like turning the dials and stuff and mixing
dude,
stuff. So yeah,
we would get to the session. He would not leave his computer until the session was done. And I remember even sitting there thinking, like, you've been at the computer for so long, like, take a break. And then we would go back to the Airbnb, and fucking 3 a.m, I'd have a text from Landon and just be like, dude, I'm fucking working this mix and it sounds sick. And I'm just like, dude, go to bed. Like, I love the passion, but rest, man. Like,
yeah,
just rest. But yeah, he works so hard, and yeah, he's just sick. And yeah, really cool to do that with him, and also get to call him a friend now. We've toured a bunch and stuff like that.
yeah. It's just good that when you have a producer like that just gives a shit about the music, like almost as much as like they're in the band themselves. Like that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, dude, it could, like, with anything, could go one or two ways. Just be a quick thing for him to get some money, but no, he was so involved, so passionate, and everything I've always wanted from a producer. And even having him like writing, and some of the songs like Around Again, he had on his computer, and he was just like, I have this song, like, what do you think? And I was just like, I fucking love this. Like, if we can use it, I would love to write something over it. And yeah, so just super helpful and really, really creative, lovely man.
Yeah. Did you learn anything from him in terms of like, I guess from a songwriting perspective, or as a vocalist, did you take anything away that you can use going forward with any future songs and stuff that you do?
Yeah, so I have like a little studio set up at my house,
Yeah.
which I record vocals and stuff like that on. And I've been trying to write. I can't play any instruments, so I've been trying to teach myself to write music at home, just even with MIDI. And I know Landon uses like a lot of MIDI in the background of stuff. So seeing him work, how he works with like MIDI and things like that I was watching him a bunch, and the plugins he was using, and just like, I would overthink ideas at home. I would kind of overthink these ideas and not end up getting any vocals down. Whereas Landon just has a melody in his head and he's got his little mic and he just starts tracking ideas down. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. So it's kind of, he taught me to not overthink shit and just put something down. So yeah, I learned, we all learned a lot, and just watching how he works was great.
Yeah. And what was that experience of like, because I guess like for a UK band, like a common bucket list thing is you go to America and you make an album in America.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Yeah, that was the goal. Like, it's
Yeah.
wild because the dreams, I always have these like little aspirations, little bucket lists, and that I want to do it in music. And one of them, the first one was obviously to start touring, start playing shows. The second one was to go to America to record an album, and then the next thing was like, cool, now we need to go and tour America. So yeah, kind of ticking all these like little bucket list things off is great. And yeah, one of the things I did say is I want to go to America to record an album. I don't know why.
It's just a common thing, isn't it? Yeah.
But that was what I said I wanted to do, and now we've done it. So yeah, the whole experience was cool, and yeah, just I feel like I'm more in America right now than I am at home, which is crazy to say.
Yeah. What's left on the bucket list? Like what's next? What else do you want to kind of tick off?
I mean, an arena show would be very cool. I'd love to do an arena show. Download Festival was still on there. We still haven't been invited to play Download Festival, so I'm hoping one day we can play that, because that's always been one of mine. I'd love to play Download. So yeah, hopefully Download, and I guess an arena show would be cool as well. That's the next things.
Yeah, anyone who's listening or watching that can sort it out, get in touch. Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. Book us.
Well, what was it like then, I guess, because I suppose being over there, like you said, you stayed in an Airbnb to record the album. So you're basically like temporarily living in the US, whereas I guess on tour, it's more like brief stops. You don't really get to look around the place very much. So
yeah.
I guess you managed to soak in the American experience, I guess, a bit more.
Yeah, dude, we became friends with the fucking lady at 7-Eleven, which was around the corner from the house. She was called
Nice.
Tina. We became friends with her, like almost became like locals. All the dudes in the 7-Eleven knew like 4 times a day. So yeah, just living here for the month was cool, and getting to see, going into Detroit, getting to explore and properly see. We went to the cinema and just experience things that on tour we wouldn't really get to do, and see how America does it. And the area where Landon lived, he's moved now, but was a really nice area called St. Clair's Shore, a really nice lake. And yeah, and I guess just getting to do things we wouldn't get to do on tour was great.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I don't like about going to the US is like when you go into a shop and you go to buy something and then they add the tax on after. So what you actually see the price on before you get there isn't actually what you're paying for.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
And then they've got the tipping culture as well. So you have to tip and stuff, which is still weird for me, because I'm like, how much do I tip? Like, what's insult? And I remember tipping someone $1 and she looked at me like I was a piece of shit. And I was just like, I don't fucking know. Like, what? How much do I tip?
Like, yeah, just write it down and then I'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like then, going into the studio and you had, like, as you said before, like not very much there? Like, did you feel the pressure of like this, because you're only there for like a limited time, right? Because obviously you've got the whole expenses and the visas and everything else that's attached to that. So were you kind of ever worried, like, are we going to get this done in time? Like, is this going to be finished before we have to shoot back over to the UK?
Yeah, I was I remember being on the plane over there and just thinking to myself, like, is this doable? Like, we have a month to write 10 songs, and we've never done anything that quickly. Like, Burning for Home was like 6 months. Lonely World was 6 months. So yeah, but like I said, there was 5 of us this time, not 2. And Jack, our bassist, he wrote a bunch of songs. I wrote a bunch of songs. Like he really stepped up and helped with like the melodies and lyrics, which I wanted, because like I said, I was so open to just trying anything and everything. If that was having more people involved and people writing and kind of, I've written every song I've ever done in Acres. So to have someone else write a song and present it to me was really cool. And it definitely took the pressure off, because I think if it was just me having to write 10 songs, it probably wouldn't have got done, because I overthink shit way too much. And
Yeah.
Jack's a good example of, I have an idea for this song, give me a couple of hours. He would lock himself away in his bedroom, come back with like some voice notes over this track and be like, let's try this. And which I'm really bad at doing, unless it's like I have something which sounds great in my head, I can't seem to get it out. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of pressure, but it was really cool just to work with everybody on this, which took all of that away.
Yeah, I guess in doing that, you kind of get rid of that thing you just mentioned of like overthinking, right? Because you don't have time to overthink. So
No.
You don't have like this option paralysis or whatever. It's just like, let's just throw an idea down. Does it work? If it doesn't, we can move on to the next thing and just go like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it brought out the best of us, because it really challenged us to be as creative as we could with it at all times. Like, it wasn't just like we can do a week here and then chill. We had to stay switched on for the whole month and really deep dive. And even after the studio, I'd get back to the Airbnb, have some dinner, and I'd be demoing and writing, and it was just a whole month of just constantly doing it. And yeah, I definitely think it paid off. And it was again, it was a different way to write a record, which we've never done, and that shows.
Yeah, I guess if you were open to everything, then were there maybe ideas or songs that kind of didn't really make it too far, that were just a bit too weird?
Yeah, I mean, we did 14 demos all in all.
Right.
Even though had 14 demos, and I think 12 done vocally, finished in the studio, which will probably never see the light of day.
Right.
There was a couple there where we were just like, this sucks. And that was kind of it. It was like, the goal was always 10, but we wanted to make more than 10 to choose from. And yeah, there was a couple which just were like, you could tell towards the end of the session we were kind of burnt out, and it was definitely taking its toll on us on like the last week. So yeah, there was a couple which just didn't make the cut.
Yeah, but then I guess that helps that you all kind of, I guess you could say with what you told me, like all the members like pitching in along with Landon, like I guess you could argue this is the most like unified Acres album so far.
Yeah, definitely the most collaborative, and I think it's definitely a way we will continue to work as well, because it's so productive. Like, yeah, 6 months over just spending a month with the boys and just all pitching in, rather than just 2 of us, because with 2 of us it gets very hard just to keep motivated. And also it's different styles coming in as well. Like Jack writing his melodies, what he would do rather than what I would do, really changed up, especially on the heavier songs. Like Jack did a lot of the heavier stuff on the record, and what I heard for them, he did completely different. And again, I love it, doesn't get stale, and it gets changed up pattern wise, melody wise. You can tell it all sounds different. So
yeah, well, I guess it helps with Jack, you know, because he's in another band as well, Out of Love, and before that he was in a band called Canvas as well. So I guess he's kind of got those different kind of perspectives of, you know, different styles of music, which would, I guess, lend to different melodies and all that kind of stuff that you, I guess, put into this album.
Yeah, and he's really cool, like kind of coming up with concepts. Not that this is a concept album, but he's very cool at like finding everything. And his whole idea was the host, and the host is about kind of everybody has this one thing that they can't let go of, and that is your kind of host. And if that's like alcohol, if that's drugs, chocolate, cake, whatever, there is always something that is pulling you back in. And I loved that idea, and luckily it tied in with every single song, and every song kind of has a meaning to that, and people can really take that and kind of twist it how they want to perceive it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, with that kind of theme in mind, if it's not like me prying too much, what would you say is your host?
I mean, at the moment, I've been very struggling with being disciplined on tour,
Right.
which is things like alcohol and smoking and things like that. And that for me is my host. I was having a conversation with Dana from Kingdom of Giants yesterday, who's doing like a full tour completely sober, and it was funny how I had to have like a White Claw or something before I played. It was just not even had to, but just it was instinct just to go and get a White Claw an hour before
Yeah.
stage and a couple of drinks to loosen up. And I've been really saying to myself that I want to be way more disciplined in touring, in life, and really try and discipline myself to not just be like, I'm very easily influenced by the boys. And if anyone's just like, oh, you want a cigarette? I've really struggled to be like, no, and I'll have one. So that for me is kind of my host and something I'm trying to learn to deal with on the road and off of the road.
Yeah, I think it's it's a bit more difficult on the road, isn't it? Because I guess if you're like on at home or on a holiday or something, you've got like a set base, haven't you? Whereas
Yeah.
when you're on tour, you're going here and there everywhere, and it's kind of like, oh, I probably should be like eating healthy right now, but I don't know where the nearest place to get healthy food is, and there's a McDonald's right there. So
Dude, exactly. We had it the other day. We did a 12-hour drive and we stayed in a town, and we looked at like the food on the way. And I think we had about 4 hours of the drive left. We found a Walmart and we were like, cool, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to get the Walmart, get some food. We're going to cook it in the van. And then we got to Walmart and they had a massive power cut and the whole town was out. And one of the only places open was Pizza Hut. So that was the only option we had. So it's definitely things like that on the road where you're just like, that's easy and convenient, and you don't really realize how much fast food you eat. And even Jack said like the alcohol as well. A White Claw, 2 White Claws almost every day for a month isn't good. So it's sometimes hard to just realize that until someone kind of tells you.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, you don't really have the perspective, do you? And sometimes, like I said, it's ease, and sometimes it's just cheaper to to do that. So you've got like a
Yeah,
financial incentive as well to do that.
yeah, for sure. And Kingdom of Giants are actually a really good example of kind of crushing the health on the road, because they have their own cooker that they bring into the venues, and they're eating ground beef,
Wow.
they're eating eggs, and they're working out. I was just, this is tough. Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's sick. So being on tour with people that do that, and our drummer in America is a bit of a fitness freak. So for the last couple of days, the whole band have been working out, and we got these little like bungee cords, resistant bands he uses. So we're getting better for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, dude. Well, I think it probably doesn't help that you were ill for a little bit as well. Like you're gonna feel less motivated to be energetic and stuff, aren't you? So
That whole first week, I just wanted to sleep, and it's being that ill on tour sucks, because it's obviously the first week you want to get to know everybody, and you can see everybody kind of gelling and meeting each other. Yet you can't really, as a vocalist, you can't talk and start shouting in loud rooms and stuff. So the best thing I could do was just go to bed. And so now I'm just starting to get into kind of meeting everybody properly, which is good.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, like you mentioned I guess the loose theme of the album is kind of dark in nature, and obviously the sound is heavier and darker. Like you've got these kind of like eerie electronics going on. And it seems visually as well, you've kind of gone in a similar direction. You know, you've got like the album artwork, which is kind of like this church with this red light coming out, and then you've got the I don't know how to describe it, but you've got that kind of character going in. He's got like a star head who's in the he's in the video for Bloodlust as well. Like, and
Yeah.
that video itself is like very kind of horror led. And can you kind of talk to me about like the aesthetics of this kind of era in this album? Like, what was the thought process in putting all this together to make it kind of cohesive?
Yeah, I mean, it really clicked when we did Bloodlust. Like, Bloodlust was one of the first tracks we did we fully recorded, like vocals, got it down, and that really set like the pace. And again, Jack was just like, dude, this is like really dark, really dark, sexy song. And my initial ideas for the video, I was just like, dude, we need to have like some weird cult party of cannibals where like people are paying. I don't know why I saw this, but people like guys come to this club and pay to watch somebody get eaten. I was just like, that would be pretty fucking cool. Like, and that normally these are like the same with Lonely World. I had these ideas, and Jack liked it, and Jamie, who directed the videos, is really into like horror and stuff like that. So he was so on board, and yeah, he kind of took the ideas and spun them and rolled with it. But yeah, he did such a good job of all of the videos, and what we were trying to do is tie them all together. And kind of, if you watch the videos backwards, they're supposed to kind of tell a story.
Right. So that kind of star-headed character person, is that got like a name of what that is? Is that like a visual representation of the host? Oh, okay, right.
So yeah, that mask was yeah, a lady made it for the video, and it just became a thing for the record, and I'm still waiting to get it to my house so we have it for other bits, because it's even, I love shit like that, and I'd love to involve that in like the live shows. If we're talking about doing like a headline show maybe in the UK in December or January, and do something special for the record. So I'd even love to have like that kind of stuff there.
So you're gonna wear it on stage, kind of go all Slipknot on it?
Yeah, there won't be.
I think that would get a bit too hot too quickly, especially if you're like pacing around singing and stuff.
Can't see in that mask, and you can't really breathe. Jack in the Bloodlust video was Jack with the mask on, and he was just like, dude, it's so hot in here and I can't breathe and I can't see shit. So we're telling him like, come this way. And yeah,
oh god. Yeah, a bit of a health and safety concern then if you wear it on stage. Yeah. So yeah, you've been to the US quite a bit recently, and obviously you're signed to a US based label, and you record the album in the US. How do you feel like Acres is being like I don't know, taken over there? Because I guess to them, I don't know, does it feel like the crowd are treating you like a brand new band? Obviously over in the UK you've been, touring around here for quite a while now, so
yeah, a lot of people see us as a new band. Obviously there's people that are coming to the shows to see us, but a lot of people are saying, I've never heard of your band, like I've never heard of this band, and what I've seen I love, and I'm gonna jam it on the way home, which is cool, and it's very exciting for us because it's like almost like a new leaf being over here, because we didn't tour here for so long. So now just to be hitting America as much as we are, and almost being like a new band over here is great, because people are excited by the band. Like the team are excited, and everybody stateside, the agent, the booking agents, the label, they're excited, and it feels good, because we've been grinding and we've been grafting and touring for so long that it finally feels like it's starting to pay off. So we love coming to America, and I think it's going to be somewhere we're probably going to be here for the next couple of years a lot. So yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, I mean that's great. Like, because I guess for some of them, like the first things they hear from Acres will be the EP or this new album that's coming out, or is out when people are checking out this conversation and stuff. So
yeah,
that must be really exciting as well. Like this is like a brand new band for so many people, despite the fact that the band's been going for so many years.
Yeah, and it seems to, this new shit really seems to be like connecting with people over here, which is cool. And I know a lot of people over here are like listen to the song Lost. It did better in America, and a lot of people have been asking us to play Lost, which we haven't done yet. But yeah, they just seem to connect more here, and yeah, like I said, we just love coming over here. So there's no plans to stop coming over here.
Yeah, as long as they want it, I guess you just keep on going over. Yeah. So what else have you guys got planned so far for 2025? Like after this tour wraps up and obviously the album drops, what's next?
Yeah, so we have a couple of months off, and then we're actually coming back to America again. Yeah. So we were supposed to be after this tour, we were supposed to be going straight to Australia to doing some Australian shows, but that fell through. So yeah, we have a couple of months off, come back to the US before the year's out, and then I'm hoping we can do some stuff in Australia next year, and then we've got some Europe stuff coming up as well. So there's a bunch, just nothing announced right now. But yeah, I think we're stoked to have a nice couple of months off just at home and be normal people for a while.
Yeah. And in the meantime, just seems like you're making America your second home in a way.
Yeah, it's yeah, like I said, it's wild. This is the fourth time I've been here in 2 years, third tour. And yeah, it feels like my wife and kids are forgetting who I am. So I'm stoked to have a couple of months with them.
Yeah, hopefully they'll recognise your face when you go back home.
Yeah, my daughter is she's 2. Her birthday was last week, and I remember going away when she was much younger, and I'd come home from like a month tour in Europe, and she'd just be like,
"Who are you?"
Yeah.
Well, Ben, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate chatting to you and hearing about all these things that are going on with the band. It's really exciting. Any final words before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your day?
Yeah. Hope everyone enjoys the new record. And thank you for having me, man, and appreciate you doing it so late.
Of course, dude. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I'll see you next time you guys are touring in the UK and stuff. And yeah, keep in touch.
Hell yeah. Nice one, man. Thank you so much.
No worries, dude. Take care of yourself.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in to It's Not a Phase. If you enjoyed this episode, then don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Leave a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the podcast on social media. And maybe even join the Patreon or grab some merch from the store. You can find everything that you need at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. Thanks again. Hopefully catch you on the next one. And remember, it's not a phase, it's a lifestyle.